I think we're live. We're going to play the live card. Hello, everybody in Facebook Live Land. We are the Podguyz Podcast, bringing it to you as we do every Monday, 10:15 Eastern Standard Time. I'm Tony Kaz.
Devin Neary here.
Of course, we have the ever-loving Picasso, the dreamer of dreams, the fainter of figures, the father of all things forgivable, Le Sparky.
And Sparky's got his big board right there. For our viewing audience, Sparky will kind of be drawing what we're talking about. He does get around the world in the week that we are not here. So whatever has happened in the world of significant impact, you can assure yourself Sparky was there somewhere unseen in the corner of a room somewhere. He's like the fly on the wall that nobody minds having in the room. Tony, we have a fourth square here.
We do have a fourth square. We have the living, the breathing Joe.
Yep, that's me.
Joe. We're just gonna go with Joe. He's Jumpin' Joe Fisher.
Yep.
Jumpin' Joe. Is Fisher really? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is Fisher really your last name?
Last time I checked, and on every government list, it says
How about that? Shout out to all the identity thieves out there.
It sounds way made up.
That right? Like, could I have two more generic names, like other than John Doe? Like, yep.
Yeah, it feels like an occupation. Are you a fisher or no?
No, absolutely not. I can't catch anything to save my life.
Then more ironically put there, like, hey, the guy that can't catch fish, guess what? Government just said that his new last name is Fisher. Fuck him, right? Joe, you are here to talk a lot of shit because you said you got a lot of shit to talk about. Is that true?
Absolutely. Yep. So I'm what you would call a jack of all trades. There's not much that I haven't done in life. Mm-hmm. I was saying earlier when we were doing introductions here, like when I was a kid and I was we were on a wrestling trip in the middle of South Dakota, and we're driving down through this little podunk town, and I see a guy in a truck who lives in this tiny little like 4-person town, and I just look at him, I go like, what are you doing with your life? Why? And it was at that moment in my adolescence that I realized that my midlife crisis was going to be extraordinary if I didn't do something.
You had an epiphany, sir.
I did. It spark. And at that moment, I devoted to living my life with pure adventure, turning everything I do into something wild and crazy. And
I love it when children ask adults, "What are you doing with your life?" It's It's the ultimate question. It needs to be asked only by children. Because if adults are saying like, "Hey, what are you doing with your life?" An adult could always respond back, "What the fuck are you doing with your life?"
Exactly it.
You can't yell at a kid. The Greta Thunberg has proven you cannot yell at a kid and look classy at all. It's
Thank you,
I know Bing Crosby kind of pulled it off.
Bing Crosby pulled it off. Milton Berle pulled it off better. Get out of here, kid. You bother me. And everyone's like, get the fuck away from him. What are you doing, kid? Get away from him. That's Milton Berle over there.
She stood on her flotilla and yelled to everyone, "You're killing me from Palestine."
Yeah, it really didn't pass the eye test. It was her and 14 dudes on a flotilla. And these were some gruff looking guys, some
stoopy characters.
These weren't like if she brought them over her parents' house and she's like, "These are all my friends." Her parents would have been like, "Greta, you autistic fuck, get over here." Not happening. Okay. No, guys, get the fuck out of here. All due respect, you have to leave. What are you doing? I know she's 19, but what the fuck? Nothing weirder than 14 dudes hanging out with a 19-year-old that has the body of a 12-year-old. Just throwing it out there. 14 of them. She found 14 guys to agree to take her on a boat adventure in the Middle East of fucking crisis land. Bobbity bomb, and she's like,
in the middle of the war.
We're on a peace mission. It's like, okay, great, Greta. So you know what happens when they catch you, right? No? Well, all right. You're about to find out. And she did get caught, but they're like, she's too stupid. I think there's something wrong with her. It reminds me of Timothy Treadwell. If you're familiar with the Bear Man story, the funniest possible interview I ever heard in my life was when the sheriff was asked, why do you feel like the bears did not harm Timothy after 13 years of going up and hanging out with them? And the sheriff responded, I think the bears thought there was something mentally wrong with him. So they didn't want to eat him because they thought that he might already have some poison inside of him. You know, if something's acting a little funny, you don't really want to eat it. Great Tumblr right there, Joe. We were just watching the movie Jaws.
It is my favorite movie of all time.
Kid, talk about jumping the shark in the movie a whole bunch of times, right? You got one shark, right?
It's like Sharknado.
You got one shark. Sharknado didn't disguise itself.
Well, they jumped the shark on it.
You got one shark, and you have hundreds of people in the ocean, and they're like, "Get out of the water! Get out of the..." Dude, how fast do you think this shark is gonna eat all of those people? It's not gonna happen. Richard Jenney had one of the funniest fucking jokes about Jaws. Richard Jenney, his take was, you know, it's weird because they made Jaws 3 when they moved to L.A. and family moves to L.A. and Jaws, we're waiting for Jaws to come up and knock on the door and say, hey, guys, I know you fucking live here.
The original plot for Jaws 3, it breaks my heart that it never got made, because it was originally going to be Jaws 3, People Zero, and it was going to be a slapstick comedy, like National Lampoon style. And at some point, they had already done like pre-production on it. And at some point, somebody said, nah, let's make it serious. And I just want to kick that guy right in the crotch, because that would have been just too perfect.
You know, it's over.
Have you ever seen the movie The Megalodon?
Oh yeah, with Jason Statham.
Jason Statham.
Oh yeah.
So Jason Statham, of course, played the movie, and that I feel like was supposed to be the original Jaws 3 write-up, but they put it in that particular movie.
It's close. The Deep Blue Sea was originally going to be Jaws. It was originally thrown around to be Jaws 5.
Okay.
And they were going to have 5 sharks, 5, as in Jaws kind of thing. But I don't know, something happened with the licensing or something like that.
That feels fucking. No, I got to interrupt you, Joe. I apologize for the immediate interruption, but that's their big idea where they got around the table, right? And they said, all right, guys.
Well, hey,
Jaws only. What if we add another shark? They're like, hold on, better idea. What if we had 3 sharks? And then the 5th guy, his major contribution to that was, what if a 5th one existed? Yeah. And they're like, boom, we got a fucking movie.
Jaws 3 had 2 sharks in it. Jaws 4 had a shark that followed them from New England all the way down to the Bahamas because it was under a voodoo spell. Yeah, I mean, why not? It couldn't get any wackier than that.
Why not? Yeah, why not just make the Brady Bunch of sharks, where here's a story of a hungry family?
You're also talking to somebody who read the book Jaws: The Revenge. I actually read the book that the 4th one. There was the first book and the second one. Peter Benchley wrote the first one. Harry Seals wrote the second. There was no 3rd book, and then the 4th one was absolutely incredible. And I don't use that word lightly, because it's amazing that this whole movie had to have been written on the purest cocaine, because it had everything to do with the mob came back from the first book, and they're heavily and then so basically the whole plot of the book is that Brody in New York slights this voodoo man who's doing voodoo practicing, and he puts a curse on the Brody family, which is why the shark follows them. Somehow they fly down to the Bahamas, and somehow that shark beats them there, like by swimming. It's the worst book, but I absolutely love it. I have the most rose-tinted glasses for anything Jaws.
Who do we have on the show that was from Jaws?
Oh God, we had a couple of people were. I don't know if we're at liberty to announce them at all, because I don't think we have good friendships with them anymore, Tony.
No.
They I think they hate it. I think they hate us now for kind of calling them out on being only famous for Jaws. And
no, I swear we had somebody on the show once and they were a Jaws writer. I don't remember who the hell it was. No, Sparky said no.
No.
I just got back from a shark convention, believe it or not, SharkCon in Tampa, Florida, and they had
go figure in Florida. Yeah, of course.
They had some of the cast from Jaws and Jaws 2. But like, it blew my mind because in the first movie, you have the three main characters, and then Lorraine Gray, Murray Hamilton, and that's it. Everybody else in that movie is an extra on that island. And so they had these people who, which is really funny. In the first movie, you remember the two kids that have the fake cardboard fin, right?
Yep.
And right, those two kids are actually brothers in real life. And one of them is now the chief of police in Edgartown, where they filmed it. So he's literally like the new Chief Brody there. And
wow.
I know, it blew my mind.
That's freaking Kismet right there. Yeah.
One of the guests was the girl on the beach who goes, "Shark in the estuary."
Oh yeah, that's right. Steve Van Zandt.
Yep. And
no. Steve Van Zandt was on our show.
He did Martin Lawrence as well.
Yeah. He was a writer for Jaws and for Martin and for.
Oh yeah,
he did a little bit of acting as well.
In the second movie, one of the actors, his last name is Dukakis, and we found, and apparently nobody knew this, but apparently he is the son of presidential nominee Michael Dukakis. And so we're like, really? That's your claim to fame, is that your dad was running for president and you were in Jaws 2? And I got to ask the question. I said, hey, in the first movie, everybody called the shark Bruce. You named it after, Spielberg's lawyer. And I said, what about the second movie? Was there ever a nickname for that shark? And he said, at the time, they found out that Fidel Castro's favorite movie of all time was Jaws. And so he tried to get the shark to be called Fidel. And it never picked up. So I said, yeah, well, it's probably going to be on IMDb in a week here now that everybody knows the shark was going to be named Fidel.
There's a good potential for it. So the one of the best monologues of all time was the character Quint.
Mm-hmm. The Indianapolis speech?
Played by Robert Shaw. And I got to just read it off real quick, because this is some brilliant writing by collaboration, of course, by Carl Gottlieb and Peter Benchley. And delivered, by the way, perfectly by Robert Shaw. And you could tell just by the way that it's gone word by word that it couldn't have been read word for word. He says, you all know me. You know how I earn a living. I'll catch this bird for you, but it ain't going to be easy. Bad fish. Not like going down to the pond chasing bluegills and tommy cats. The shark will swallow you whole. Shaking. Down to you go. Now, we got to do it quick. That'll bring back the tourists and it'll put your businesses in paying basis. The delivery on that was just, and by the way, the makeup artist on him to make him look the part of ex-veteran, USS Indianapolis, whatever, the backstory of the character. And for him to portray that mask put on him to a T, where he did not give a shit about anyone. He had zero respect for the sheriff and even less respect for Hoopa! Hoopa! Back it up! Just, He embodied every inch of that character, and all three worked together as the perfect trifecta of chemistry on screen. That it didn't matter. By the time we did see the shark, everyone was like, what the fuck? Holy shit. Now they're out there with this thing. And of course, they kind of gave the shark a little bit of a personality as if it knows to eat a boat. Now, sharks don't just eat a fucking boat. All right? Throw it out there.
No. That's actually not true. I just seen a video today of a shark trying to eat a boat. A great white, believe it or not.
Okay. Every day, a shark does not eat a boat.
No.
They don't just wander around. They're like, any boats I can fucking eat? You know.
Plus, there was chum all over the back of the boat.
Exactly. You know, they're trying to rile this thing up.
Yeah.
There's there was a couple of things that we learned about Jaws that I had never pictured. I've seen this movie so much that you can start a quote from this movie and I can finish it. It's that ingrained into my brain. And I learned that every time you see the color yellow, someone's about to die.
Yep. No, that's true.
Kind of like how orange with the Godfather is and everything like that. So it's very prolific that every time you see the color yellow. And once they're on the boat, the shark only makes an appearance or an attack every time Hooper and Quint get really riled up together. It's almost like their conflict brings the shark out, and that's the culmination of it.
It is not only just to because you can only yell nonsense words at each other so much until you have to add a new element in there, where then they get back to work, sort of thing. And that technique had, it's been used throughout like the Bob Newhart show where they're having a disagreement, then somebody knocks at the door. This has been used before in the Burns and Allen TV series, not just in comedies, but in actions as well, action flicks as well. And it moves the storyboard along very quickly. But speaking of storyboards, we have Sparky's big board right there. Sparky's arms are getting tired. He's got a lot to say. Flip that board around, Sparky. What is going on? After spending a week on a boat with 14 men, Greta only got a red snapper. I need a bigger snapper. Oof.
That'll be Jaws 5.
You're killing me, Sparky.
That'll be the real Jaws 5 there. Jaws versus Greta.
You know, Greta would be the one to protest against killing Jaws, and then Jaws kill her. You see how that works?
Probably true.
We must save the sharks. Shark jumps up and kills her. Everybody's like, okay, well, now that she's gone, we're cool with killing the shark again.
That needs to go in a parody movie like today.
The Sharknado people are already furiously writing right now.
They are watching this right now.
They're watching. They know that they have some comedic gold. They're like, the Podguyz Podcast. What can we steal?
I keep bringing this. If you're into, Joe, are you into movie theory at all? As far as characters, characters are perceived in different facets and for the wrong reasons, and people, they misinterpret these characters on who they really are. Mm-hmm. So I've had this movie theory out there for a little while now, and I'll repeat it as much. I'll shout it to the fucking moon until people hear me on this one, okay? Tony's heard it a million times over, and if you want to hear it, have you ever seen the movie Rocky?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, great. Very classic movie. Now, Sparky's over there holding his face and holding his head, like, waiting, like, oh, motherfucker, man. So, Mick from Rocky.
Mm-hmm.
You're familiar with the character?
Yep, Burgess Meredith. Mm-hmm.
Mick has always been a scumbag, okay? He literally put Rocky's life in danger in every case and instance through his poor training. By the way, Mickey's only around for Rocky. He's only there for Rocky when Rocky has money and shit to give him. Mm-hmm. Like a disgusting piece of shit.
Always in it for himself.
Always. He clears Rocky's locker out. And then once he hears that Rocky's got a little bit of money coming in, a big opportunity, boy, he knocks on his door. He pumps up his numbers on his age.
You're a bum.
and makes Rocky feel bad for it.
Not only that,
Yeah,
but he trains him like the fucking dumbest person alive could train anybody.
Yeah.
Like, holy fuck. If you are a person who is training at a farm to catch chickens, that's when you want to train somebody with a chicken. A chicken will not punch you in the face repeatedly, round after round after round. And then Mickey gets even dumber, because why not? He probably took out an insurance policy, life insurance policy on Rocky for Rocky too. Because
life insurance policy.
He tells an older boxer who was left-handed to fight right-handed because Apollo won't see it coming. Now, by the way, Apollo was a little tricked up because Rocky was a southpaw and he's normally used to fighting right-handers his whole entire championship career. So what's not going to fuck up Apollo is somebody now fighting weaker, right-handed, while his wife is in a coma, and he says, oh no, you need to drink more eggs and run with me while I'm on a fucking bicycle and move around a medicine ball. We know how bad of a fucking trainer Mickey was by Rocky 3 when he dies finally. Holy shit. Thank God for that.
When he actually gets a real honest-to-God trainer.
He gets a real trainer, the guy who beat him bad. He's like, hey, Rocky, let's try some footwork. And he's like, Mick never had me do this. And there is a look on Carl Weathers, who played Apollo Creed. There was a look on his face. And it's just like, and he wanted to tell Rocky how fucking terrible of a trainer, how bad of a person he thought really Mickey was. It's cats and dogs when it comes to that kind of stuff. So he looks at him, he's like, yeah, okay. And just leaves it at that. And that tells us enough where he's just like, he wanted to say, Rocky's, you've never been taught footwork because Mick didn't care about you. He's been stealing from you. He found a way to live inside of your mansion. He gave you such a complex that you felt you couldn't win without his advice of, I'm going to throw the towel because you're getting your head knocked in out there. That's not advice, by the way. That's just a fact. That's just Mick reflecting on his poor training. Mick saw that it was almost 9 p.m. and Matlock reruns were coming on at fucking 9:45. And he's like,
in the mansion.
Like,
that
get
also
the hell out of here.
not only is that basically factual, it also wore off on Rocky. Rocky learned how to do that because at the very end of 3, they go and they spar with each other, right? And we don't know who wins. And then in 4, Apollo's going to fight the Russian. And Rocky's like, yeah, I think you should. And he doesn't throw in the towel because that's when you're going to find out. And Rocky was never going to let it out that he lost. So he let Apollo die.
He did let Apollo die. But now that was probably a bad call by Apollo Creed. Pulled the plug on the
respirator.
It was a bad call by Apollo Creed saying, like, hey, Rocky, you could be my manager. And Rocky's like, that doesn't sound right. And he's like, no, you could, because, undertones of Cold War. Huh? How about that? And every time Sylvester Stallone writes a script, he realized you have to kill off a main character or no one's going to give a fuck. Enters Rocky 5. The worst part about, I think the worst part about it was, even after he beat Mr. T, he still has this lingering. Okay, so Rocky 2, Rocky 1, right? We'll get to it real quick. Rocky 1, he's like, okay, Mick, you could be my manager. Into Rocky 2, Rocky's down on his luck. He says, Mick, can I just help out with the gym? I'll do whatever I need to do. I'll help train the guys. I'll help spar with them. I'll give them my experience. Mick looks him dead in the eye and says, no, I don't want you down there. And I don't think you want to be down there either. Dude, the guy is asking for a lifeline, the same that you asked for before. But you know what? That would be Mickey giving Rocky money for a job, not the other way around. What a scumbag.
Yeah, he still milk that cow.
Paulie is the hero of the movie. He gave him his sister to hook up with. Now, sure, he's an Italian who beat the shit out of his sister in Philly. That's literally every Italian family in Philadelphia in the 70s. Brain. That's she might have already had salad brain,
Yeah,
where it's just like, hey, we'll put the let her work in the pet shop.
No, he did use the R word when he described his sister.
But she's a little retarded, Yeah, exactly.
A little retarded.
That's a big city, Philadelphia. And by the way, Paulie gave him. Let me see here. His sister. He gave him a job at the meat plant. He made sure that Rocky was taken care of. And Rocky gives him a watch. And I like how Paulie flips out and says, "You want the fucking watch?" He's like, "No, keep it on the goddamn ground." He's like, Mickey, you set him up with a room in your house. Me? Who the fuck is Mickey to you? And I'm thinking to myself, holy shit. Paulie was the only character to figure out how much of a scumbag a user that Mickey actually was of Rocky's life, and how much of a giver Paulie was, a real friend. Even we know it later on in the newer Rocky movies, where Paulie is still there to visit his sister and Rocky's wife, Adrian's grave together, and helps again with the training process until Burt Young passed away. Obviously, you can't have him dead in a movie too much, but seriously, that was Rocky's only friend. Maybe Apollo a little bit, but Sparky, flip that big board around and see what's going on. No women during training Rocky, but that is okay. I sent her to the zoo, and as you can see, he sent her to the zoo. Hey, Rocky!
I'm gonna go send my sister to the zoo to go pet the lions.
Hey, Rocky, I heard retards stack the zoo. And then
retards love the zoo.
He's like, what? And then literally later on, he's like, I guess that would be a good date. And takes her out there, sort of thing. But what is one movie theory you have that people tend to ignore, but you really need to lean into, and you're right about it no matter what anybody says? Do you have one? It could be a no and we could immediately move on, or it could be a yes and you have it in the gun, ready to roll, running through your veins, ready to escape your throat into your mouth for our ears to enjoy right now. Go for it, my friend.
Oh, man. Right on the spot like that. I definitely know I do.
I literally had enough stall time and run-on sentence there for you to just, all right,
I was so in the roller coaster for that whole thing. There are definitely some theories that I have. I'm gonna have to think about it.
Okay, think about it. Tony, you are up next with movie theory. I know you have a critique on almost every movie the same way I would have one. But one movie theory, Tony, that you have that people should really get their fucking head straight with, and they need to know about it right now before they and do a rewatch. Do a rewatch of these movies. We encourage you to do a rewatch of these movies. You will find that Mickey is nothing more than a scumbag. When he actually helps Rocky visit his coma-riddled wife, he was like, so, when you getting back? What the fuck? What are you talking about?
All right, so my main thing would be Arnold Schwarzenegger playing 3 main characters through every portion of his movies. And he plays the same character every single time.
Okay.
Now, even if you happen to go way back, he played Conan the Barbarian. That was an iconic character. He played that character for a couple movies. And he also played, oh my God, what the hell was that? I'd have to look at his biography.
In something in Red Sonja?
Red Sonja, yeah, the Red Sonja series, of course. And he also played, oh my God, even when he went through, even through Hercules was
in New York.
Well, let's just call him the Terminator no matter what, okay? Because the Terminator can time travel. So if the Terminator wants to teach class and the Terminator is trying to find who? John
Connor.
John Connor.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And he doesn't know what school John Connor goes to. So enter kindergarten cop. That's just the Terminator trying to find John Connor the whole time. Conan the Barbarian. That's just the Terminator with a fucking sword. traveling through time some more. Jingle all the way is the Terminator trying to find John Connor, trying to find the perfect gift for Christmas, but it turns out he's just hanging out with Sinbad the whole fucking movie.
Well, he played in the sixth day, which was like
which
a Terminator,
was
like,
just
movie.
The Terminator.
The Terminator. Also the what was the Total Recall. Total Recall. He was also,
which was he didn't
Terminator.
realize he was a Terminator. He didn't remember it. You know, that was
he had to get rebooted.
Total Recall, by the way, was a masterpiece of all sorts. And you know, you had the Quado there. You had, and this is like before they overdid CGI. This was like Blue Sky on Mars. They never let anyone know if it was a reality he was living or if this was just his
ending. They have to let the ending real ambiguous so that you could draw your own conclusion for it. That's such a good Paul Verhoeven film.
Same character through the Predator series, the Commando series, the Terminator series.
Don't forget, Tony, the Running Man.
The Running Man.
Wait, the Running Man was just a male version of the Hunger Games.
Mm-hmm. I'm so excited for the new one coming out.
That's why when everyone's like, "Oh my God, the Hunger Games is so good," I watched 5 minutes. I'm like, "This is the Running Man." Oh God, this is just the Running Man.
Then he tried playing a cop. He played a cop in Raw Deal. He played a cop in Kindergarten Cop.
Raw Deal was good. Raw Deal was very good. Yeah.
Last Action Hero. True Lies.
Collateral Damage.
Junior. Collateral Damage. End of Days.
Don't forget the one of the most classics, Stopper, My Mom Will Shoot. Wait a second, that was Stallone.
Oh, and Last Action Hero, which I will stand behind Last Action Hero as being a magnum opus because it was so much ahead of its time that people did not realize the gold that movie is. Pure gold.
I think people wanted
characters. Three main characters. That's the thing.
I think the problem with the movie though is people wanted a movie, and it was a movie about a movie about a movie about a.
If that movie had waited at least until 1996, 97, when everything meta started happening, like with Scream and things like that, that movie would have been revered because it was a perfect tongue-in-cheek parody of the buddy cop movie. Like it had everything in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it did, and then it kind of fell flat during the ending, where it didn't really show much of it. It had the now he escapes back from the movie theater back to his seat sort of thing. You know,
you got that great monologue by Ian McKellen as death. I mean, there is so much in that movie that people don't remember. Art Carney was in it. That was one of his last films.
Art Carney, one of the lesser known Oscar winners of Best Actor Academy Award winner, Art Carney. That was one of his last movies.
Charles Dance chewing so much scenery as the bad guy. Like he hasn't been that enjoyable of a bad guy until Game of Thrones came out. And I absolutely love that movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of underrated. Now all of these
stars. Noonan is the axe guy. Come on, that's perfect.
All of these stars that are mentioned right now are in their 80s. They're 80s stars in their 80s. They're 80 years old. You have Arnold just walking around doing stuff, being 80 years old, which is proving he is probably a robot. Throwing it out there,
Could be.
It's a different world we're living in now. Now we're living in the world where, you have the Flash and the Peter Pan roaming around stealing kids and fucking, nobody knows if he could be taken off a movie because all the CGI could have gone somewhere else. Literally, you could have just replaced his face and he didn't need to be in it. You wouldn't have to pay him anything.
Agreed,
either,
by the way.
Agreed. Yeah, like I've watched the movie and I was like, you know what? I wonder if I watch Flash on 3 times the speed, if it's really going to fuck with the plot. It didn't. It didn't at all. No, it did nothing. It didn't. I didn't miss shit.
It was the same as a normal speed as it was 3 times the speed.
Yeah. If I did it at 1 time speed, I'm like, oh, the acting is kind of that of the CW. Sparky's got something on the big board there, but what's going on, Sparky? Oh, something McAfee protection has ended popped up on my screen there, so somebody else has to fucking.
So that Bill Paxton was killed by an alien, a predator, and a Terminator. That's right. Bill Paxton was killed by an alien, a predator, and a Terminator.
He's not the only one, though. He's not the only one. Lance Henriksen also shares that.
Look at that, Sparky. Where were you on that one?
There you go, Sparky. Now that you've had time to ponder, Joe, what would you say is your answer to a famous movie?
Yeah, we could play a little guessing game right here. Joe, Schwarzenegger or Stallone? You got to pick one. The other ones movies do not exist anymore.
Ooh, okay, all right. Hold on.
Okay. Because... If you don't have an immediate answer, we'll go to another one. Pacino or De Niro?
I've got it, but it's a tough one because of all of Stallone's films, his best two are Cobra and Tango and Cash, hands down.
Tango and Cash was garbage. Garbage.
You shut your whore mouth. That movie is the Bible.
The Bible of what?
The Bible
Kevin,
of
how did he know about your whore mouth?
Oh my God. No.
I love that movie.
First of all, the one-liners belong in The Naked Gun because they're a fucking joke. Okay?
Exactly.
But they were trying to make an actual action movie.
I know.
Okay?
I know. It's
and they
the whole
promoted
movie's a train wreck. The whole movie's a train wreck.
There were scenes that Stallone could not like. The whole movie was a train wreck. Cannot be the premise of watching the movie as a serious action movie.
Yeah, but you got Robert Zadar. You've got all these perfect things for it, and then it just nothing happens. And mind you, the other one is Cobra.
Kurt Russell and Stallone couldn't stand each other so much. They had to splice scenes up. Okay, they had to splice it. Stallone has more Oscars.
That was all because that was when Stallone was going through his phase of I'm better than everybody else.
He is still stuck there. What the fuck are you talking about? He's still stuck there. He's been there. Fucking Tulsa King, dude. What the fuck? That is not even a show right now. That's
terrible. It's terrible.
That has maybe one okay scene, and then you're like, oh, is Rocky training this kid? And you're like, no, this is Tulsa King. He ain't Rocky in this one. I was like, oh, because he's kind of talking like Rocky throughout every fucking scene. Because the range of ability, Cobra is just much angrier Rocky. Okay, yep. Rambo is Rocky with PTSD, and Rocky just keeps getting more mushier brained throughout time to the point where he now owns
Cobra a Kurt Russell ripoff.
Basically. Yeah. Police officers Ray Tango and Gabe Cash are narcotics experts working to bring down drug lord Yves Perret. In an attempt to stymie their efforts, Perret sets up Tango and Cash and makes it look as if they've killed an FBI agent. Arrested and put in prison, the two cops formulate an escape plan and once out, team up with Tango's exotic... You know what was a better movie than this? Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man was a better piece of shit than this. That was a better piece of shit.
I love that.
If we're talking piece of shit duo cop movies, let's fucking go there. You know, I'll watch that on fucking repeat rather than Tango and Cash just blowing shit up. You know who I don't mind blowing shit up for the reason to blow shit up? Because his give a fuck was never there. Dirty Harry. He did not. It's like, Dirty Harry, you just blew up a school. Yeah, well, fuck those kids. And then walks away and you're like, okay.
They don't make them like that. No, but
Harry, I want your badge on my desk. He's like, you'll get it later this afternoon.
You'll get it when I give it to you.
If you go between Schwarzenegger and Stallone, I'm the biggest Schwarzenegger stan there is for it. Hell, I have Conan's Atlantean sword. Like, I'm a huge one. And honestly, Predator is better than any Stallone movie out there.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. But I think Stallone had a better franchise with Carl Weathers.
Mm-hmm.
But you have Jesse the Body Ventura involved in that movie as well. So there was a really good ensemble.
Making of the backstories behind that movie are almost as entertaining as the movie itself. For example, Sonny Lundham, who played Billy, they had to hire bodyguards so that the insurance would allow him to be in that movie. Not bodyguards to protect him from the other guys, but to protect everybody else from him because he was known for his short temper. And one of my favorite, there are two stories about Predator that will live rent free in my brain forever. And number one is that Jesse the Body Ventura, a machismo, a mountain of machismo that he is, went to the costuming lady and found out that Schwarzenegger's arms were 1 inch smaller. His biceps were 1 inch smaller than Ventura's. And so he casually brought up a arm measuring contest to Schwarzenegger, and Schwarzenegger agreed. Now, Schwarzenegger is also known to be a psychological manipulator of immense proportions, to the fact where he knew something like this was going to happen. He went to the costuming department and told them to mark his arms 1 inch smaller than Ventura's. So when they did the contest, he won by a whole inch and blew everybody else away. Like that kind of manipulation, because he talks about doing that kind of stuff to Lou Ferrigno when they would bodybuild and he would get inside people's heads. And then there's another one they would talk about how every morning they would get up and go to the gym to lift, but they wanted to make it look like that they had been there for a while. So they would get up earlier and earlier each day, to the point where they were going to the gym at 2-3 in the morning to start the day off. And Carl Weathers would go early, drench his shirt with water, and then wait for everybody else to show up to make it look like that he'd already been sweating so much. Like you don't get that level of like toxic masculinity in such a profound way anymore. You just don't have that anymore. And I relish those stories. They're absolutely amazing. Like just the fact that they would show up at 3 a.m. just to outlift each other at the gym.
So we have another one for you. Pacino or De Niro?
Oh, I'm a Pacino guy, 100%.
Yep, same here.
Yep. And
both of those 80-year-old gentlemen are expecting their second babies right now.
They are in with each other.
They are in
with their respective girlfriends.
With women that No,
Pacino has a 45-year-old, or no, I'm sorry. De Niro has a 45-year-old. Pacino has a 38-year-old.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, good for them, I guess.
Yeah, these are brave women. Okay, very brave. Very strong.
It's not going to stop me from watching Scarface for the infinite amount of times.
Well, that's another thing too there, Joe. Michael Corleone, if you give him a Cuban accent, is just Scarface. If you give him a Colombian accent, it's Carlito's Way. And then if you give him a military background and take away vision, instead of a woman, throwing it out there. The time that Al Pacino, I think, really flexed his acting to a very finite degree. Glenn Ross. Fuck you. Yeah. Give me my fucking promotion. You owe me a Cadillac.
I also really enjoyed him in Devil's Advocate too, of course.
Devil's Advocate.
I thought that was a good role for him.
It was very good. I think him and Keanu Reeves carried a very hairy script all around. Where I think that if they didn't have those two, and you know what? More credit also goes to Charlize Theron, where she put in the same amount of acting effort that she did for Monsters Ball. Is it Monsters Ball? No, that's Halle Berry, right?
Yeah, you're thinking Monster.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Monster. Yeah. But she put in that same effort, and believability was there. The structure of the narration with Eddie Balzoun, while he's running away from people who now the audience knows are demons, and that's a tough shark to jump sort of thing, where you're like, by the way, the guy is the devil. And you're like, okay, why? Why does he have to? Can he just be a sleazy lawyer? No. He's got things moving behind him and shit. They're like, we're going to need Al Pacino. Yeah, we're going to need a lot more money than you think we need. That was probably a script that had been shelved since the 70s. And because you can't just put it out there, it could be something big if put the right cast together on. If put the wrong cast together on, you will make Ghostbusters 3. What the fuck?
I do have a theory. It just popped into my head. 7, the movie 7, right, is a Saw movie.
It basically is. Yeah. It's a type of Saw movie. Only thing is, Kevin Spacey ends up molesting somebody on the set who's 17 years old. And, that's where the real intense scene starts going on. Kevin Spacey did find a way to stay in his Baltimore City mansion, though. The person that bought it from him, he just sucks their dick every day and, stays there and, rent free. It's kind of a perk. The guy's not even gay. He's just like, how can I say no to a Kevin Spacey blowjob? It's just one of those things you don't say no to. Speaking of things you don't say no to, Sparky's got something there on the big board. He did go around the world to go and get this shot right now. Sparky, flip that board around there for me, man. Hey, Robert, what is with the vial? I am acting out a part of a movie for my girlfriend. It's called The Jerker. Hey, can I have one also? The Jerker. Very strong wrists on these women, very, very strong wrists. Some might, that's a masturbation joke if you didn't catch it, just throwing it out there, Joe. So you'd go Pacino over Robert De Niro. Now, what movie would you say was Pacino's oh my God moment? And by the way, in this answer, they both can't be in the same movie.
Yeah, because Heat was pretty damn good.
Because he basically, and you don't know Jack or the Joe Paterno movie, he basically played both characters the same,
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I loved Pacino. I loved Pacino as I saw Devil's Advocate, God, young age. I think it was in 7th grade when I saw it, and I read the book, and it had an effect on me. So I think I have rose tinted glasses for him in that role specifically.
Joe, would you say that it's specifically just that had an effect on you?
Probably.
Just saying.
I'm trying to think of other movies that he's been in. I'm just drawing blanks all of a sudden for it.
Well, who's not shooting blanks? Both De Niro and Pacino.
That's
not
right.
doing that either. Their sperm is very good. It's
very
still
vile.
out there.
Very viable.
They're still squirting in the fucking, Taxi Driver. Sparky puts on Taxi Driver.
Taxi Driver was so good.
And by the way, this is no slight against Robert De Niro. He has had so many iconic roles. It is insane to just discount the idea that he could not be in it.
Goodfellas alone right there is half of it right there.
Goodfellas, Raging Bull, Taxi Driver.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
think he did too many of those Fokker movies. But
yeah, he did.
that was beating a dead horse. Was he in Analyze This? Was that him?
Yeah, he was. He was also in Analyze That.
Yeah, the sequel.
Oh, what was that movie that he played in with what's his name?
Dakota Fanning?
No. He played the grandpa, bad grandpa, dirty grandpa.
Oh, yeah. That wasn't terrible. It wasn't good, but it wasn't terrible. It wasn't awful. Not every scene was bad. The one of my favorite actors of all time, Paul Newman. he's just
good.
Just the natural ability to portray any character. I mean, him, The Color of Money with him and Tom Cruise on screen was just the Sting. I mean, yeah, I could give you the Sting, absolutely. Really,
another good
and by the way,
another good Robert Shaw movie.
Mm-hmm. We had it down to one day that Kevin Costner can only play a cop, a lawyer, or a baseball enthusiast.
Ooh, good call.
You know what? Controversial. I absolutely love Waterworld.
You're a fucking idiot, Joe. That's the dumbest thing I ever heard in my life.
You're out the show.
You're on it. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
It's one of the guiltiest pleasures, but if Waterworld is on the TV, I'm hunkering down.
Why? Don't you have a job? Don't you have a job? That is 3 hours long.
He's an entrepreneur.
I know. I don't think I've ever finished it, but maybe once or twice. I never make it through it, but I'm always like, but if it's on Netflix, I'm like, well, there it is. That's putting it on right there, just in the background. That one, you're also talking to somebody who I was walking through Walmart one day, have my noise-canceling headphones in, and I walk past that $5 bin, and I see the Super Mario Brothers movie, and I squealed so loud that my headphones fell out.
Joe, if you had to summarize Waterworld in 20 seconds, could you do it?
Oh, absolutely. The movie is a god-awful waste of time, effort, and materials, and I love it to death.
The plot, Joe. The plot.
Oh, the plot? The plot.
We want spoiler alerts, too. 20 seconds.
All right. Yeah, all right. Jack Black, one of his first roles, plays an airplane pilot in that movie. It's about a man who is almost as selfish as Kevin Costner is in real life, playing him. And he steals a little girl and her caretaker and convinces them that land exists, and then accidentally discovers it. Dennis Hopper.
You're missing the big one. You're missing the big one.
Which one?
Come on. Give me a try. All right.
There we
go. Go ahead.
Okay. Kevin Costner is fine with there being water in the world because, spoiler alert, he's got gills. The end. Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Holy fuck. Oh, yeah. He's got gills. He's a half fish fucking person. Spoiler alert. He's a half fish person that steals a girl.
Watch Waterworld, you have now.
There you go. You see? And that didn't take 3 hours. And when you're like, does he ever have to use his gills to do anything special in the movie? No, he doesn't. Not at all. Not in the slightest. In fact, just the opposite of it. Because he's fine on land, too. Perfectly fine on land. By the way, Hollywood, that's not how gills work, okay? You're either in the fucking water or you're not. You have the ability to grow gills. You do not have the ability to walk on fucking land and do whatever you want. It's not a thing.
Yep.
Evolution was just taken one day and they're like, maybe throw gills on them because they didn't have a script. Waterworld lost $103 million at the theaters. Now, this is a fucking movie that you could have literally shot in a pool with a pool.
They should have. Because that movie was racked with so many bad events. So everybody.
What did they do, Sparky? Did they buy the Pacific Ocean? Or like, let's rent it for like a month. That one fucking.
No, everybody lived on that atoll that they built, that shitty ransack, except for Costner, who would fly back to Hawaii and live in a mansion.
Oh, like that he rented out. I thought he was flying back to Hawaii to do that mailman bullshit, the postal man, movie.
Oh, that's somebody. The only contention I have with Waterworld specifically is that a friend of mine said it was the aquatic version of Mad Max, and I said, don't you dare compare these movies because Mad Max is a godsend. Like that is a great movie. Waterworld is the antithesis. It is terrible, but I still love it. Like Mario Brothers, love that movie. It's god awful, love it.
Yeah,
I have an appreciation for the world's most terrible films. I absolutely love them.
Clearly. What about good movies? Do you like anything good?
You are talking to somebody who went and saw Kung Pao Enter the Fist twice in the theater.
Okay, now that was not a now that was a movie that did not hide itself as anything but a parody. Okay,
true.
Waterworld was like, hey, not only are we good, we're $103 million good. And Costner was the reason Nicolas Cage did not be Superman. That is true. Sparky, we lost a Nicolas Cage version of Superman because Kevin Costner. Yeah, because Kevin Costner. Kevin Costner, big shout out to your ex-wife on taking all of your money and making sure you don't do Waterworld 2 with it, because when Kevin Costner gets up to a certain level of money, he's going to do sequels of old movies that were really bad.
He got
J-Lo money.
Is he with J-Lo now? Is that what's going on? She just saw that.
That was the rumor. That was the rumor that was going on.
She saw his farmer's tan where his wedding ring used to be and was fucking turned on, ready to, latch onto that shit. Yeah, she went full taco madness on that bullshit, She went chimichanga all over that Costner cock, right? She went Could
you imagine Costner in any of her movies?
Yeah. Jennifer Lopez had a lot.
The Cell, starring Kevin Costner.
The Cell was a very good movie, underrated in a lot of different aspects. It could have there was room for improvement as well, but J-Lo had a movie career going on for a little bit. Halle Berry
Anaconda. Was that her in Anaconda?
She was in Anaconda. Yeah, so was Ice Cube.
I constantly forget half the cast of that movie.
Yeah, Anaconda was potentially going to be a franchise right there. But after a while,
they're remaking it now, so I guess it kind of works.
After a while, you realize it's a snake, though. It doesn't have any arms, right? Can't you kill it? Can't you just shoot it? It's basically Tremors. Remember Tremors?
Oh, love that movie.
Right? First Tremor, perfect, great. The second Tremor, what's going on? Is Kevin Bacon in it? No? Well, why?
They couldn't get Kevin Bacon, and they couldn't think of anything else to call them other than it's the third one when they called them ass blasters. Yeah, Tremors movies. The Tremors movies age like fine milk.
They age like fucking milk. They age like raw milk in the fucking
they age like Halloween movies. They just keep getting worse.
Halloween movies were just ridiculous. Now the first one was new, and no one has ever seen that kind of concept before.
The first one is one of my all-time favorite movies. I could go on complete. I could do an entire doctoral thesis about why it's one of the best movies.
I think what they did was they borrowed a lot of subtleties that were in Friday the 13th.
Oh yeah. They went into it expecting it to be like a carbon copy. Like, here, we're just going to make some money off of this real quick one. But the way that they did it, because it kind of like Jaws, where they do a kill at the beginning to show how serious it is, but then there isn't another kill almost until like the 45-minute mark for Halloween. The rest of it is just him stalking, and you don't know when it's going to happen. And that's why I'm not a big fan of the Rob Zombie versions, because you're just inundated with so much gore that you're just desensitized to it it doesn't really mean anything by the time you get to the end.
I think Rob Zombie went into a particular lane of his own. And
Rob, there's a hill I will die on where I will say, with Rob Zombie's Halloween, you either love it or you hate it. He's got his fans, but if he would have done a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie instead, that is paint by the numbers, his style.
I think Rob's. I think what
Corpses,
I think what's upset. I think
all
exactly.
That is all Texas Chainsaw.
So what is it? What is basically it's him undermining himself when doing a remake, and the fan base that he's had throughout the years feels like they want to like it because his name's attached to it, and that's when you kind of know somebody's hitting the sell button on their own creativity, when they've already reached the top and they're pressing their face up against the window and people keep saying, what's next? What's next? This is why Quentin Tarantino is only doing one more movie. It's going to be his last movie coming up. No one even knows what it could be. There's very little speculation. Yeah, he's got one last one to go. And then he is retiring. He's been doing it. He's been making films over 35 years now. Remember, it feels like it was just yesterday. He was that, young gun going to the Sundance Film Festival, and showing off Reservoir Dogs. And, really.
I hope it's not Kill Bill. I hope it's not the next Kill Bill movie.
It is not. No, they are.
That one's been floating around that he's been working on a sequel to Kill Bill, basically where the little girl from the first movie is now trying to kill Uma Thurman. And
I think they should make a Kill Bill movie where it's just David Carradine jerking off in a closet, but just for a whole hour and a half. And they don't show. You don't have to show the dick or anything. You just show his face on his struggles of trying to get off the rope for like an hour and a half. Also known as the last episode of Kung Fu. Kung Fu. Yeah. Sparky loves that joke every time.
More like Kung Splu.
Kung Splu, the final.
Brought to you by Craftsman Leather.
So, Joe, you do cosplaying. Who is your cosplay go-to character?
I mostly do a Mandalorian.
Okay.
From Star Wars, I do Jedi. I do a couple of Ghostbuster, fully fledged Ghostbuster. Got my franchise papers and everything for that one. Yeah. I do a lot of local conventions here in Tallahassee. Sometimes Dragon Con up in Atlanta. It depends on where it is. Orlando, a lot. That kind of thing.
When you kind of break down Ghostbusters, I guess they're the idea and how to get ghosts into a trap was nuclear power packs.
unlicensed nuclear accelerators. Yep.
Yeah, the more you rewatch it, you're like, the environmental protection guy.
The guy was totally right. Walter Peck was so right. That was one of the funniest things, is because when we were kids, we loved the movie. I was one when that movie came out. I was raised on Ghostbusters and the cartoon, and then when I rewatched it as an adult, I went, oh my God, these guys are not role models. Like Peter Venkman goes on a first date with 100 milligrams of Thorazine. Like, yikes.
Way before that, right? Now, Peter Venkman decides to convince Dan Aykroyd's character to spend his grandmother's inheritance money.
3 mortgages. Yep.
3 mortgages on an old firehouse and shit to catch ghosts that, by the way, they're pretty sure aren't real, and it's scammy. The whole setup is scammy.
Mm-hmm.
Egon's got a lot of kind of science behind it. Venkman, total fraud, total con man, big time. He probably got kicked out of New York, had to con his way into being a weatherman in Pittsburgh.
There it is.
Where then he had to relive the same day over and over and over again to realize, and by the way, you only have to relive that day over and over and over again until you openly admit what a piece of shit you actually are. And it took him how many days to figure that shit out?
Yep.
He couldn't openly admit it. And then he's like, I'm going to spend my time trying to fuck Addie McDowell. And God's looking down saying he is not getting this.
Didn't they say that in order to be able to achieve everything that he mastered in that movie, like playing the piano and everything, didn't they say it was like, what, 10,000 years that he did it?
A lot of time.
Something like that?
Yeah.
Now, there was something really, really interesting that just came on the Jimmy Kimmel show the other day. And it was, what's her name from Ghostbusters?
Sigourney Weaver?
No, not Sigourney Weaver.
Annie Potts.
Annie Potts. Something about her daughter does acting now, and she ran into freaking what's his name in the dressing room, and she was talking about him and his time, I guess, on the set, and they talked about how they were single now, and they were always looking for love, and she was trying to hook him up with hook them up together, I guess. But they always hated each other on set.
It's real tricky. They did the sequel Ghostbusters 2, and
nobody wanted to.
Well,
which is hard for a diehard Ghostbusters fan like myself to hear, but I get it. Like, nobody expected it. They didn't have a script when they started. Nobody was into it. They kept coming back being like, what's this pink slime? What's this? Oh, new script. Oh boy.
I feel like they didn't need to still be Ghostbusters. They could have all separated, done their own solo stuff, kind of like the Beatles, and then got back together for a reunion concert kind of thing in different location, not New York City, maybe Chicago, right? But then again, we're dealing with Hollywood and the money machine. They knew that they're already like anticipating it's gonna sell toys and not make any plot sense at all. Sparky, flip that big board around there, my man. As the board slowly turns.
So anyways, let me elaborate a little. Wait. No, there it goes. All right.
Is how I'm going to sell energy to Europe and make trillions. Okay, hit it. Hey, where's Madonna?
The ghosts of Madonna's vagina.
Yeah, that's where they come out of right there. Tony, what were you elaborating from? I'm sorry there.
So anyways, Andy McDowell, who shared the set with her for with Bill Murray of
Groundhog
Day. They hated each other so bad.
Mm-hmm.
But Andy McDowell's daughter, who just came out in that interview, Margaret Qualley, she was talking about setting them up together now because I guess they're both single. But she didn't know how much of a feud that they had on that set and really hated each other.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Bill Murray is very he's got a cult-like popularity to him, but reality,
he is a
really difficult person to work with and very
very pompous.
Well, his talent does not exceed his arrogance.
Yes.
No, okay? Bill Murray has been chasing an Oscar for almost his entire life, and
really
generally doesn't want to do movies now
because I don't disagree with you there. He played FDR poorly, and
which is why he kept doing all these Wes Anderson films because they're all just Oscar bait.
Wes Anderson needed 2 films and then the rest to be irrelevant. Because when you're doing that style and everybody's like, oh, well, this is something new, and then you do it again, you're like, well, okay, I like the first one. Let's see if we do another one like this. That's fine. And then when he does a third one, same kind of style, you should start to say to yourself, oh, so this is all he does. The person who needs to be most admired for a original script to one degree or another, as gritty as it was portrayed in real time to one degree or another, DMX for the movie Belly was, and if you've never seen it, I would suggest see it. Real gritty, real kind of chopped up. This was his first movie ever, and he never put out a second movie because he felt like he put enough into that movie alone. Where if the saying is true that everyone in the world has one great book to write, then your second book is going to be much worse than your first. And not to say don't write a second book or whatever, don't write a sequel, just playing the odds sort of thing. The sequels, Empire Strikes Back when it comes to Star Wars, outstanding. Return of the Jedi was in reference to Anakin Skywalker's brief return while being alive for that a period of time when he's being, watched by his son, who, he's done all this for. He's done all this just to prevent his children from dying.
Is the culmination.
Yeah. So
I'm actually I'm one of those few people that actually prefers Return of the Jedi over Empire.
See, I think they're different movies, though. I think they're very different movies. Empire's
100%.
more, yeah. Empire's
100%.
Empire. You can't have Return if you don't have Empire. Empire
gets dark. That's where it gets dark. Yeah.
Empire gets real action based. A fucking hand is cut off.
Yep. It's the Two Towers, but in space. Yeah, basically.
And then Return of the Jedi is like, there's puppets here. C-3PO's there for.
That's why I love Return of the Jedi. I have this whole spiel I do basically where it's like, why do I love Return of the Jedi so much? Because of the Ewoks. The Ewoks are the scariest thing in the entire Star Wars universe. And people don't realize it because they see cute little teddy bears. And I say, no. And for like at least 3 reasons. Number one, within 5 minutes of being on this planet, they capture a rebel general, a Wookiee known for their warrior prowess, a Jedi. And the Empire's been trying to catch these assholes for 5 years, and they catch them in 3 minutes with a goddamn net. Like, they're profound hunters. And then when they're
hold on. You just named the biggest problem with that. They caught them with a net.
A net. So
you don't
simple.
see an immediate problem with that. They're like, I'm stuck in a net. Well, looks like I'll just sit here in the net.
And it worked. And then they're taking them to the Ewok village, and they put them on a pyre to roast them alive. They don't even mercy kill these people. They're singing songs while they're starting fires. That's dark as fuck. And then in the original version, they never blinked. And I don't trust any creature that doesn't blink. That's just wrong. And then they just happen to have clothes that fit Princess Leia, which means they've got a wide variety, which means they've done this before. They eat humans. And the biggest tell is that when the Empire fights the Ewoks on the Battle of Endor, they didn't have time to set all those big traps with the big logs and everything, which means that those were already set, which means they hunt giant creatures for food and for sport already. So that's another thing you got to think about. And they live up in the trees. They don't have graveyard burials, so they either eat the dead Ewoks or they just push them off to fall to the ground.
No. I'll give you that. Listen, the biggest gangster in the galaxy, and Tony can agree with me on this one or disagree, whatever you'd like, Tony. Obi-Wan Kenobi, all right? Biggest gangster in the galaxy. When we learn more about Obi-Wan, right? Dude's a fucking straight up sociopath, right? So he's
a total dick.
Sociopath. He's out of his fucking gourd. He goes, Luke Skywalker's fucking, he's like, hey, my name's Luke Skywalker. And he looks at him, and, before we know what we know, it's just a gaze, and you're like, oh, wow, maybe they're going to mentor each other. He looks at him like, killed your dad. All right. Well, let's see if I can use you to help me out. I'm gonna need some help on this one.
Kevin,
the amount of information that he holds back.
And then, dude, he still has Luke do his bidding because he's a fucking Force ghost, and he's like, keep doing shit for me. Like, what the fuck?
He's almost as bad as Mick is.
Mick became a Force ghost as well. He became a Force ghost. Yeah, everybody got their Force ghost in the 70s for sure. Tony,
Obi-Wan.
We gotta wrap it up there, Joe. We have to wrap it up there, my man. Sparky's got another big important thing. Hey, Ben, how are you going to train Luke like rocket?
True.
Oh, perfect.
One of the most controversial movies of all time, from The Lord of the Rings.
From a certain point of view.
From certain points of view. You start from the very beginning with a magical wizard.
Okay.
That can do absolutely fucking anything with magic. Except get a tiny sized human to a volcano where he can control birds.
Yeah.
Moths. Any type of animal in general. He brings a horse to the settlement where he's at. And he says, no, you need to make this journey and you better walk there.
It's a dick move. It's a dick move. You are 1000% correct on that, Tony.
Yeah.
He probably
make it a 20-minute journey. You can fly in the back of a butterfly, and we'll go and drop that little freaking ring off into the volcano. That's
a Gwendolyn move right there, you know? Yeah. Like, because he could do a big shortcut. You know, like, hey, fucking right this way. Get on the bird. We'll ride. We'll ride there.
Anything.
We'll fly. Or, I don't know, maybe give me the ring and I will just fly there and throw it in the volcano.
Yeah.
Or at least give the hobbits some shoes. They're going to be walking miles across lava. They need something.
Valid point, Joe. Valid point.
Busted ass feet.
You know what they were missing in that movie?
Putting it out there.
They were missing in that movie a world full of water and gills on their fucking selves for no apparent reason.
Yeah.
That's what they're missing. You know, I mean, I'm sure Kevin
cross an ocean.
I'm sure Kevin Costner walks out of all movies like that. Like, why isn't there any water and gills and shit? An entire Lord of the Rings remake where Kevin Costner plays every character. No, an entire Lord of the Ring remake where fucking Kevin Costner complains that it's not movies that have the same plot references as his. You know, like, wait a second, why aren't they disappearing before they get to the cornfield?
And he keeps dropping whatever accent he has for each character.
Yeah,
Sparky, what you got?
Throw that thing around, man. What do you got? Trainers of less smarter people, anonymous. So what did you say to the boys? True.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Karate Kid's Mr. Miyagi also is guilty of this bullshit as well.
Yes, he is.
Wash my car. And he's like, wash my car. Oh, it's karate.
Wax my.
If he would have spent more time teaching him actual karate, then the Karate Kid wouldn't have won with a.
Joe, do you know what Mr. Miyagi's like big words of wisdom were when it came down to crunch time? And you know, LaRusso's getting his ass kicked. He's like, Mr. Miyagi, what do? I keep getting killed out there. He's like, I don't know, kick him in the face. And he does. And the refs are like, I guess that wins because that was pretty cool. He kicked the kid in the face.
That was great.
Oh, now I want a movie where Mick trains the Karate Kid.
Oh yeah, no, he would never because the Karate Kid doesn't have any money for him. The greedy bastard, you know. Karate. He'd be like, "Hey kid, you got nothing without giving me money.
Give me a bike. I'll take your bike. I'll sell that bike for money.
Let me hold your wallet. It's giving Mick superpowers. Now chase the chicken."
You know what? I like the idea that Burgess Meredith played the Penguin in the Batman movie, and then moved to Gotham, or moved from Gotham to Philadelphia, and then became the trainer of Rocky when all his money ran out.
Burgess Meredith.
Oh my God! What if he was Burgess Meredith, the trainer of Rocky, as the Penguin?
Burgess Meredith's biggest Twilight Zone was using books as instead of currency because everything else he was a greedy scumbag in.
That's true. That fits because of the Twilight Zone episode that he was in.
Yeah,
all he wants to do is just read books.
He wants the whole world just gone, so that way he can read in peace and quiet. And then he breaks his glasses twist right there, you know. Which, by the way, is still a better twist than gills on your. Throwing it out there.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that one for sure.
Slightly better, and you know. All right, Tony, we got to wrap it up, right, my man?
Yeah, Sparky, where can you find us if you were looking for us?
You can find us on every single major streaming platform, including iHeart, Google, Spotify, Spreaker, Deezer, Castbox, Pocket Cast, GeoReo, Facebook Live Video, YouTube, the Amazon Prime, and coming soon to Roku TV.
Roku
TV.
We are coming soon.
Still working it.
We are getting there. Joe, this episode will be on Roku TV. So tell your friends, tell your family that you will be on Roku TV. And, if they are disappointed at your performance of defending Waterworld and other such crap movies,
I'll die on that hill.
Yeah, die on the hill, man.
I'll die on that underwater hill right there.
Yeah.
Between Underworld and Running Man, I don't know. I don't think we could talk anymore, Joe.
No.
Oh no, definitely. I'll defend. I won't defend Underworld. That one's a terrible one.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Joe, thank you very much for coming on the show. Of course,
I had an absolute blast.
Well, we are glad you enjoyed. Was it everything that was said that it was supposed to be?
Oh, anytime I get to come on and bullshit about movies is a perfect day. So I love it. I'll be here any day you guys want.
And Joe, at least you weren't offended by anybody saying like, you're a fucking crazy bastard for liking Waterworld.
Because I get called that all the time anyway.
Yeah, it can't be the first time anyone's ever said that to you. Like,
oh no. Anytime I mention Waterworld, they hit me with sticks. It's fine.
People probably like drop their babies. What did you say? It was a good movie. It was good. Your baby's over there drowning. She doesn't need to hear this. She doesn't need to live in a world where somebody thinks that Waterworld was a good movie. Let her drown. Let her do that now.
Mm-hmm.
Facts.
Oh yeah.
Guys, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you tune in every Monday, 10:15 Eastern Standard Time. I'm Tony Kaz.
Kevin Neary here.
Of course, the ever-loving Picasso.
Les Parquet.
Yeah.
There he is. Guys, we'll catch you next week. We have more interviews, more people. It's what we do. Have a great night.
Peace.